Okay. Well, 3-0, we'll obviously take that. It's kind of what I told the team, though. We got more to us. Credit to Youngstown State. I thought some schematics gave us a couple of issues, especially on defense on the one long run. We're not even kind of lined up correctly, and the increases for the big hit. Thought schematically, in the run game offensively, we got more to it. So we got to get something going there, make it a little bit easier on the quarterback, get us some better down and distances. The first half went quick on us. We had 4 total possessions offensively. You scored on 3 of them. So you go into halftime with thinking we just wanted to get the ball going, and then coming out of the second half, that punt return was huge because we didn't do anything offensively. Defensively, steps up, gets 3 and out. The punt return by Amari was huge. Gets down there and kind of separate with some things. We had the 1 turnover tonight, tipped ball, play action pass. The defense bowed up. I thought that was really big. Look at the second half and everything. We turn the thing over and get it in pretty good field position for them. Defense bows up and gets a stop. I think it was a field goal on that possession. So that was big. So again, we're going to go back to work similar like we're doing each week, right? Digest this tape and look at some things. We know what's coming in regards to this conference, starting conference play next week. The road trip, the team we're playing, all of that's coming, and we want to take tomorrow for sure to make sure we're looking at our tape and getting better. Think about getting asked, so I might just fire just a couple updates on a couple guys. Alante Brown got hurt during pregame warmups. We'll get a final diagnosis kind of on Monday, we think, on that to see where that goes. Nick Marshall really the same way. Halftime, took a look at him, kind of inconclusive, just wasn't ready to go for the second half. We need a longer look at him to final, and I'll definitely let you know where that goes if we know by Monday. Outside of that, I'll take your questions.
Chris?
Yeah, I kind of wanted to touch on that a little bit with Luca as well, and I saw Connor went out, and then Mackay, those 3, and then also just what this game did in terms of testing the depth, maybe in a different way than you thought it would.
Yeah, it did test the depth because you mentioned those 3 guys coming out for a small amount of time, whether they go back in. I say it's like we watch the tape, and it's not like we're going to just point the finger at the player the whole time. You think about it as a coach, our preparation. I will tell you, we went pretty good on Tuesday and Wednesday this week. Good on good. Some of the emphasis we wanted to make off of last week, and I thought in the back of my mind too, we got some guys that came out for plays, and so the work we're putting in. These guys went to work this week. This was nothing casual, and so I think about that too as I'm preparing this team. And that all 3 of those guys, we'll let you know Monday. But right now, I'm not anticipating long term on Mackay or I can't remember who else.
Luca and Connor.
Luca, we'll see on that one. That one might be more serious. Again, I don't want to until we know final.
Few players are talking about how it's next man out. And I know that's a common refrain in football when there's injuries, but how do you ensure that it is a next man out and there is no drop off when you have some pretty key injuries and seems in some pretty key spots?
Everyone, it's a physical game, and you need guys to get in. And I think for 3 weeks we have gotten a bunch of guys in, and they know the importance. Maybe they were just getting in the game because that was part of the rotation. Now the guy goes down, you need the next guy to go in, and that's the expectation, kind of the culture of the locker room is that, if you are the starter and you go in the game, you can still perform and execute like you are starting.
Matt, Jonathan over here on the side. The run game was not really, consistent in traditional game budget, obviously rushing, but I guess what you see that game that they did to give you guys trouble, was it more on your end?
I know one thing, without deeply studying the tape, they playing some high safety looks, but those guys were fitting in a hurry. And so, as an O-line, you're not identifying a high safety in your scheme. Those guys are showing up in a hurry, especially on anything going sideways. That's kind of my initial thought without deeply studying it.
Jonathan, holding Brunkard to 17 yards, pretty impressive after 264 the week before. And what was the thinking at the end of the first half?
Yeah.
Instead of calling the timeout, trying to clock it, and then you don't get a play and just get it going?
Yeah, we want to be able to execute a clock to start with, not go backwards. So either way, we're going to have a play from the 1. Some of the logic, if you can get the thing spiked enough, we average about 5 seconds of play. You run a quarterback sneak, there's a chance it's going to be less than that. You hold on to the timeout, you could get 2 plays. Either way, the way it played out for sure, I'd love to bang the timeout and run a play from the 1. But we back up where it turned out to kick a field goal momentum-wise. We were getting the ball back. We were pleased to get a score, I will say, at the end of the half.
Jonathan, 3-0, something to be celebrated. Even with the injuries, how do you manage expectations internally and externally about what the expectation for this team is for a day like today and going forward?
Yeah, I think we emphasize kind of expectations. We use the word standards and things. It's more internally. We set these standards. Do we play to our standard in all facets? That's how we focus. Externally, look, we want a passionate fan base. We want people interested in what's taking place, all of that. But I will just tell you, it's all internal when it comes to our standards and what we're focusing on.
Obviously, you're aware of all the adversity Morion has gone through. How nice was it as a coach to see him go get a pick today?
Yeah, it's great. Just really happy for him. I think you saw it from his teammates. When he's out there and making plays like that, the contribution, he continues to overcome. And he's a guy to be celebrated on this team, and our guys do celebrate when he has success.
Jim, Steve, Rico, Graham. Jim.
On the game that Jack Velling had, could you talk about his progress,
Yeah,
what it means for him to rise up and make some plays?
Big. I mean, I think about the third down catch. That was a huge one over the middle. He separates there. We got him a couple of times in the red zone. He is a nice facet to our passing game. You know, so he's got good hands. He can separate, understand zone coverage, and us being able to find him today was huge.
And Omari Kelly, return, making a big play on a third down catch. How important is he coming, especially in that second half with Marsh not being out
Yeah,
there?
he's a big factor. He's been a factor really each week. That punt return is huge. I think the thing is blocked well. I think he set up blocks well and got vertical without deeply studying the punt return. He's got great hands and can run. We've moved him around a little offensively, and so in that second half, he played a big part.
Steve.
Hey, Jonathan. Forgive me if I'm reading too much into your tone, but I guess it sort of feels like you are a little disappointed in some things today, and it feels like you could have got more out of this game. I'm wondering what sort of is where you're at.
Yeah, I think we got more to us. And again, I'm starting with myself, the staff, and our preparation. Again, I don't want to take away from Youngstown. I think Youngstown's going to win some games in their conference and things. But I would have loved to just been a little bit cleaner, especially defensively. A couple of explosive plays. Did not think we needed to be giving those up. And then in the run game, we're about balanced. Our first and second down run game wanted to be better. So that's what I've been thinking about over the last couple minutes.
Did want to ask you about Mackay too, getting back. Jordan and Wayne were talking about they could see a excitement on him even weeks ago, I guess, sort of knowing that this day would eventually come sometime. What did you notice from him, just sort of about getting back, and maybe on the field too, sure, but about him getting back, what did that mean to
He's a
defense?
big part. You talk about leadership, obviously his experience. I look at the way he prepared to get himself back. I mean, he was in a limited fashion. Some of it he's not taking reps during the team period, but he is back 30 yards in his place, taking his footwork, making his call. Like he had been taking mental reps for months on that. And so we did kind of have him go out there, had him pseudo pitch count, so he didn't stay out there the whole time, easing him back in so he could be full go start next week.
Rico.
Aiden Childs came out and said that you guys, respect everybody, but you fear no one. Coming off the big victory of last weekend and knowing that you got going out to USC at the West Coast, was there anything special that you did this week to keep the team focused on Youngstown State?
Yeah, I mentioned that we went Tuesday and Wednesday pretty physical in the practices. Make sure we grabbed their attention that way. And looking back on it, the way we went out, was that the best move? Maybe the veteran group didn't need that kind of special practices. I call it special, just emphasis on the physicality, because this group does it. It means a lot to them. The way we prepare during the week is not always going to be exactly the same. I'm thinking about the amount of reps, the amount of physicality, all of that. But this is a mature group, and we got to find a way to play really well Saturday if we want to have a chance down there.
Graham.
Jonathan Poirier, I know you're hoping the Mackay Frazier injury isn't something that's long-term. He had sort of become your featured back.
Yeah.
That was very clear. I'm wondering where that room stands without him. I know Brennan Tells has had some pass pro issues there. Jace Florizio, we haven't seen it all yet. Where that room stands and sort of the depth chart, and is Jace a possibility for playing shortly?
Jace was a possibility going into this thing. He has just not gotten healthy. It's turned into a kind of nagging, longer term thing he's dealing with. We're anxious to, when he's back out, we feel like he can help us. But yes, Mackay had played well and done some things. We'll see where that goes, depth chart wise and all. But Brandon, has had some good carries. Elijah had a couple good carries, and so those will be the next two to carry the load.
I will go to Jim, Chris, and Connor to wrap. Jim?
With Aiden Childs, are we starting to take, we as observers take for granted some of the accuracy improvements there in the first half? He was pretty accurate. How did you think he came along today? The touchdown to Masunas, stepped up in the pocket, looked like he was trusting some protection there. How did Childs do today?
Yeah, like that. I thought first half he was taking what the defense was giving him. A lot of it was underneath and all of that, not trying to force anything. I do think that was a big time rep in the red zone to Masunas because just like you mentioned, pocket movement, eyes are up, going down. I thought he became a check down passer. You saw a couple check downs that came out of him, not all just trying to create the play. Thought he ran the ball really well again, fourth down, right? He goes and gets the thing. Quarterback draw, what you see about trying to hurdle someone who's not really going down. We're always coaching, but I like his game right now. Decision making, accuracy, seeing it well, managing the thing, playing really hard. I thought he did a good job again tonight.
Chris and Connor.
Yeah, and we guys talked earlier about the Nick injury situation, but before that, you guys were feeding him the ball quite a bit, and wondering if you can kind of break down what you saw from him in that first half, and then in the second half, Bullard obviously had the touchdown run too, but the third down catch that he made, just on the sideline, just what he brings to this offense for you in terms of a dynamic playmaker.
Early on Nick's part, again, I think some of the scheme, them defensively, they were gonna make it hard for us to run the ball, play some isolation game over there with Nick and off coverage. So we were spitting the ball out to him, and then he broke a couple of tackles. That was kind of the first half generally. Bullard can run, he's a good player. Obviously the reverse is a good play. I think the third down catch, 2 minute on the sideline and making a huge play there, so you might see more and more of him as things go. We've got some guys, and Bullard's one of them.
Connor, wrap it.
And no disrespect to the FCS level or the opponent you play, but usually these are games that you rotate some guys out and make some of the starters take rest. I'm curious, was that ever a plan in going into this game that, all right, if there's a certain point, a guy like Aiden goes and sits, a guy like Nick sits, like, is that something that was on the radar for you guys?
I think every game, you try to prepare for as many scenarios as possible, and so yeah, if it gets one-sided and all that, guys have worked hard in practice to get them in. Again, you got to earn that, / you got to get the situation in the game to get that done. But it wasn't a heavy conversation, I will say. I think we're playing, we know our depth chart currently. We do it in practice, right? Ones go up, take some plays, and then the twos go in and take some plays. So it didn't need a lot of thought.
All right, thanks, Coach.